When my clients are first starting out, and even my husband will send me pictures of something they find at the grocery store and ask me, is this okay or is this healthy? And honestly, there are some really simple things to look for that can make that gray area quickly turn black and white super crystal clear. Do you struggle to stay consistent with healthy eating and just want food decisions to be easy, guilt-free, and sustainable? You're in the right place. Hi, I'm Chelsea, nutritionist and fitness coach who overcame restrictive yo-yo dieting and body image insecurities using simple nutrition tools, all backed by biblical principles. And now I help women like you find that same freedom with food so you can feel confident in the look and health of your body for decades to come. I'm ready to dive in with you. So grab that cute notebook you've been hanging on to and let's go. Chelsea has a way of making nutrition simple and understandable. I can't wait for more content on this podcast. Thank you, Sarah, for taking the time to write this review. It really is my mission to take big, complex nutritional concepts and make them super digestible. No pun intended. So, without further delay, let's do just that. Welcome to the show. On today's episode, I'm going to teach you how to know for sure if something is or isn't healthy. That's one of the biggest questions I get asked as a nutrition coach. When my clients are first starting out, and even my husband will send me pictures of something they find at the grocery store and ask me, is this okay or is this healthy? And honestly, there are some really simple things to look for that can make that gray area quickly turn black and white super crystal clear. For today's conversation, we're going to focus on packaged foods specifically. I think that's where most of those questions come up. So let's walk through the 3 things I always look for on food labels to determine if it's healthy or not so much. The first thing I do is read the ingredient list. So whatever item you're debating about, flip it over, look at the back label, and you'll see that nutritional facts graph. What we're looking for is actually that list underneath. It's usually small print. It has everything that went into that item. And what we want is for everything on that list to be recognizable. You should be able to picture the ingredient in your mind, know where it came from, and potentially even have it in your kitchen. So for example, I often buy tomato sauce because it is so much easier to open a jar or a can and add it to your favorite pasta than it is to slowly simmer down 5 to 10 pounds of tomatoes for a cup of sauce. I know all of my Italian nonas are cringing, but here's the thing. As much as I would love the full-on homestead lifestyle, it's just not practical for me and my family, at least not right now. So yes, I buy jars of tomato sauce, but I'm very particular about the ingredients in it. Everything in that jar is something I know, and I could realistically make it myself if I wanted. I'm just buying the pre-made item as a way to delegate that part to someone else. And I talked more about that in episode 2 if you want to go back and listen. But because I know if I have to make the sauce from scratch, I'm not going to end up doing it. And then I'll be caught unprepared with food and resort to a takeout meal or some kind of convenience food. You see the trickle-down effect here? So I'm delegating the sauce-making part of my meal to someone else, but I'm particular about the ingredients in it. So I want to be able to recognize everything on that list. Now, what we don't want to see are basically the opposite. Ingredients that we don't recognize, we can't pronounce, we can't picture mentally. These are all pretty good indicators that they're a preservative, a chemical enhancer, or something even as silly as making it more vibrant of a color. Ultimately, we don't need to be eating those things. In fact, not only do we not need it, but it likely has a harmful effect on our health. Some common ones of these include lecithin, which is an emulsifier, xanthan and guar gum, which are thickeners, high fructose corn syrup, which is a sweetener, sodium nitrite, which is a preservative, I mean, the list goes on, but the simple method of being able to recognize and picture where it came from still applies. If you don't know what it is, your body doesn't either, and it will trigger an inflammatory response, which if we do that over and over again, with time, we're going to end up with disease. It's kind of a grim truth, but it is the truth. So the first thing I always do is read that ingredient list and make sure everything inside that product is something I recognize. The second thing I look for is added sugars. Now, this one can be tough because there are countless names for sugar, especially as food marketers learn what we consumers consider to be not healthy. So they'll actually just change the name. A lot of times it's the same ingredient, but if they know we know of a trigger word, they're going to change the name of it so that they can keep selling their product. A general rule of thumb is that anything ending in OSE, O-S-E, is a form of sugar. You can remember that by thinking about your blood. Blood sugar is your blood glucose. You may have heard those terms before. So if anything on that list of ingredients is ending in OSE or includes the word syrup, you can bet it's a form of added sugar. To be clear, sugar itself is not inherently unhealthy. In fact, all over Scripture, honey is associated with goodness, abundance, the promised land. But in Proverbs chapter 25, verse 16, it says, "Do you like honey? Don't eat too much, or it will make you sick." Yes, this is proverbial wisdom, so there's that metaphorical interpretation of it. But the literal sense has been proven with science. We have a threshold of honey and sugar in general that when exceeded, we become ill. That being said, avoiding added sugars is the way to go. Of course, the question about fruit usually comes up here. How much fruit should I be eating? Is it even healthy? Because I know it has a lot of sugar in it, blah, blah, blah. Fruit naturally has a good amount of sugar in it, but it also has skins and fiber and things to help with the digestion of that sugar. It's God's perfect creation. Fruit is referred to in the Bible with very positive connotation. The fruit of the Spirit, the fruit of life, the good fruit that you produce. So if we eat fruit as it's intended in its whole form, so not as juices or extractions, you should be just fine. Your body will tell you before you've eaten too much, so long as you're eating it as a whole fruit. Plus, if we limit the added sweeteners, we are far less likely to become addicted to that thing, which, biblically speaking, is breaking strongholds and idols in our lives, and physiologically speaking, means we won't overconsume it. These are all good things, healthy boundaries. So the second thing I'm looking for in packaged foods are added sugars and staying away from them. And the third thing I look for, which is similar to the first point of recognizing the ingredient, are oils. Do I know what kind of oil it is that's listed? Do I know where it came from? For example, olive oil. I know what olives are. I know that if I squish them, oil comes out. Same with avocados, same with coconut. But then you lose me with vegetable oil, canola oil, rice bran oil, safflower oil. I don't know about you, but I have yet to meet a vegetable fresh from the ground that's oily. I honestly can't imagine pressing any vegetable and getting oil of any substantial amount from it. So I'm not really sure what's in vegetable oil, which is tricky because it sounds like it would be the healthier thing because I know vegetables are healthy for me, but vegetables don't have oil in them. So make that make sense to me. And most of us don't know where canola oil comes from, and frankly, none of the seed oils, which tells me it's so heavily processed that I just don't need it. God didn't make it, and my body won't be able to use it. So really, for simplicity's sake, if there is an oil listed on the ingredient label, I want it to be olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, or even butter, ghee, tallow, lard. Things where I can picture the source and know confidently what it is. Within the first month of working together, I have all of my nutrition clients go through their pantry and just audit the ingredient labels. We're looking at things like seasonings, Dressings, sauces, chips, dips, crackers, canned food, all of the stuff that has a long shelf life. Because there's a reason it does, and it's not just because that particular food doesn't perish quickly. It's because there are things in it that are extending the life of that food. And when we start to really look at the ingredients, not just the fat, protein, and carb content, gosh, it is eye-opening, the stuff we are consuming without really knowing it. And so that is my personal challenge to you over the weekend. Start looking at the ingredient labels of your foods, especially as you're in the grocery store shopping. And I'm going to warn you, the first time you start doing this, it's going to be frustrating. It will seem like you can't find anything to eat because everything has unrecognizable ingredients, added sugars, or weird oils. Trust me, I have been there. I have sympathy. But as you keep practicing, you will soon find your go-to items that you can rely on, that you can fill your pantry with, and you'll be able to spot the red flags with ease. And there you have it. The 3 things I look for on ingredient labels to know with confidence if it's healthy or not so much. Every item on that list of ingredients should be recognizable to you. Maybe you even have those ingredients in your pantry. You're just paying someone else to assemble them for you. Keeping added sugars as close to 0 as possible, and staying away from oils where I'm not exactly sure how they're made. Tuck those away for your next grocery trip, and I'll meet you back here in a couple of days. I pray this episode was helpful to you, my friend. If so, could you do me a massive favor and take 30 seconds to write a review? This is the best way to bless me big and help more people learn just how simple eating healthy consistently can be. And if you want more value-packed info from me, head to coachrain.com and sign up for the Weekly Harvest, my weekly emails filled with recipes, how to use food as medicine, biblical nutrition, and more. That's coachreign.com for the Weekly Harvest. Blessings until next time, sis. Toodles.